Have you ever wondered what people really see when they look at you? Not what you think they see, not what you hope they see, but what they actually perceive when their eyes meet yours, when they stand in your presence, when your energy field intersects with theirs. If you're a chosen one, and if you're watching this, you probably are, what people see when they look at you is completely different from what they see when they look at everyone else. And today, I'm going to tell you exactly what that is. But before we go deeper, if this message is already resonating with you, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop 888 in the comments. Let's begin. Here's the first thing people see when they look at you. Something they can't quite put into words. There's an energy around you that doesn't fit into their normal categories of understanding. You confuse them on a subconscious level because your frequency doesn't match the frequency of the world they're used to. When most people meet someone new, their brain quickly categorizes that person: friend or threat, ally or competitor, familiar or strange. But when they meet you, their brain struggles. You don't fit neatly into any box. There's a depth in your eyes that makes them uncomfortable. There's a knowing in your presence that they can't explain. They might not be consciously aware of this, but their subconscious picks it up immediately. And it makes them react to you differently than they react to others. Some are drawn to you like a moth to flame. Others feel threatened and want to keep their distance. But very few people remain neutral when they encounter you. The second thing people see when they look at you is light. Now, most people won't literally see light around you, though some sensitive souls might. But what they do see is the effect of that light. Your aura, your energy field, carries a brightness that contrasts with the density most people carry. Even if they can't articulate it, they sense that you're operating on a different wavelength. You're more awake, more aware, more conscious. This is why children and animals are often drawn to you. They haven't been conditioned to ignore energy the way adults have. They see your light clearly and move toward it instinctively because light represents safety, warmth, and love. But here's what's interesting. The same light that attracts pure souls can repel darkened ones. People carrying heavy energy, unhealed trauma, or low vibrations often feel uncomfortable around you. Your presence reminds them of what they're avoiding in themselves. Your light exposes their shadows, and that makes them defensive. The third thing people see when they look at you is actually themselves, or more specifically, what they wish they could be or what they fear they're not. You act as a mirror for people. Your authenticity reflects their own masks. Your courage reflects their fears. Your peace reflects their chaos. Your clarity reflects their confusion. This is why you get such extreme reactions from people. Some love you instantly and want to be close to you because they're inspired by what they see reflected back. They see possibility. They see hope. They see what they could become if they did their own inner work. But others react with hostility, judgment, or criticism because your presence makes them face uncomfortable truths about themselves. They see the gap between who they are and who they could be. And instead of being inspired, they feel threatened. So they project their insecurity onto you through criticism, gossip, or rejection. Here's the fourth thing people see. You don't need them. Not in the way most people need others. You're not desperate for validation, approval, or acceptance. You're not performing for their attention or adjusting yourself to fit their expectations. This is deeply unsettling for many people because we live in a world built on social hierarchy, on systems of approval and rejection. Most people spend their entire lives trying to be accepted, trying to fit in, trying to please others. But when they look at you, they see someone who's opted out of that game. You're not playing by the rules they're playing by. You're not competing for their approval. And paradoxically, this makes you more magnetic. People are drawn to those who don't need them because there's no hidden agenda, no manipulation, no desperation. Your self-sufficiency gives you a kind of power that most people have never cultivated in themselves. The fifth thing people see is the depth in your eyes. Your eyes tell a story that most people's eyes don't tell. They've seen things, not necessarily physically, but spiritually. They've witnessed dimensions of reality that most people never access. When someone looks into your eyes, they're looking into an old soul. They're seeing wisdom that doesn't match your age. They're seeing experiences that go beyond this lifetime. They're seeing pain that's been transmuted into power, darkness that's been alchemized into light. This is why some people can't hold eye contact with you for very long. It's too intense. Your gaze pierces through their defenses, through their pretenses, straight to their core. And most people aren't comfortable being seen that deeply. But for those who are ready, who are awakening themselves, eye contact with you can be transformative. They feel recognized. They feel seen. They feel understood in a way they've never experienced before. The sixth thing people see when they look at you is evidence of transformation. You don't look untouched by life. You don't have that naive innocence that comes from being protected and sheltered. You have the bearing of someone who's been through hell and came out the other side. Even if you're young, even if your life looks normal from the outside, there's something about your energy that communicates. This person has been tested. This person has survived. This person has transformed. People can sense this even if they don't understand it. They can feel that you've walked through fire, and instead of being destroyed by it, you were refined by it. The trials that would have broken others have made you stronger, clearer, more aligned with your purpose. This is why people often tell you their deepest secrets and confide things they've never told anyone else. They sense that you understand pain, that you've transmuted your own suffering, and that you won't judge them for theirs. The seventh thing people see is firm boundaries. Not walls, but clear, energetic boundaries that communicate this far and no further. You don't let people drain you. You don't let them dump their chaos onto you. You don't let them project their unhealed wounds onto you without consequence. You've learned to protect your energy, and people can feel that protection around you. This frustrates energy vampires, manipulators, and people used to crossing boundaries without resistance. They can sense that their usual tactics won't work on you. You can't be guilt-tripped into giving more than you have. You can't be manipulated into abandoning yourself for their comfort. For healthy people, your boundaries are refreshing. They feel safe around you because they know where they stand. There's no guessing, no walking on eggshells, no confusion. But for toxic people, your boundaries feel like rejection. They interpret your self-protection as coldness because they're used to accessing people without limits. The eighth thing people see is that you're not fully from here. There's a quality about you that feels otherworldly, like you belong to a different realm, a different time, or a different dimension. You're in this world, but you're not entirely of it. There's a part of you that seems to be observing human behavior from a slight distance, as if you're studying it, learning from it, but not completely absorbed in it. This can make you seem mysterious, enigmatic, even strange to some people. They can't quite figure you out because you don't operate purely from ego, from survival mode, from the same programs that drive most human behavior. You're connected to something larger than yourself, whether you call it Source, the universe, God, or higher consciousness. And that connection shows. It emanates from you. People feel it even if they can't name it. The ninth thing people see is purpose. Even if you haven't fully stepped into your mission yet, even if you're still discovering what you're here to do, there's a sense of purpose that radiates from you. You're not just existing. You're not just going through the motions. You're not just living for weekends and vacations. There's a deeper current running through your life, a sense that you're here for something important, something meaningful, something that matters. People feel this purposefulness in your presence, and it affects them in different ways. Some are inspired by it. They're reminded of their own forgotten dreams and suppressed callings. Being around you makes them want to reconnect with their own purpose. Others feel judged by it, even though you're not judging them. Your purposefulness highlights their own lack of direction, and instead of taking responsibility for that, they try to diminish you, to make you smaller, to convince you that you're being unrealistic or naive. The 10th thing people see is that you don't fit, not in a trying to be different way, but in an authentic way. You genuinely don't fit into conventional categories, social groups, or predefined roles. You're not trying to be unique. You're not performing nonconformity. You simply are who you are, and who you are doesn't fit neatly into society's boxes. This makes some people uncomfortable because humans are tribal creatures. We like to categorize, to create in-groups and out-groups. But you transcend those categories. You're too spiritual for the material world, too grounded for the purely spiritual communities, too deep for surface-level friendships, too real for fake social dynamics. You're a bridge between worlds, and that's a lonely position sometimes, but it's also your power. Because you don't fit anywhere completely, you can move between spaces that most people can't access. The 11th thing people see when they look at you is who they could become. For those who are awakening, for those who are starting their own spiritual journey, you represent possibility. You're living proof that transformation is real. You're evidence that healing is possible. You're a walking testimony that people can break free from conditioning, transcend their limitations, and step into their authentic power. When awakening souls look at you, they see hope. They see a roadmap, even if it's not clearly defined. They sense that if you've managed to break free, maybe they can too. This is one of the reasons why your presence is so important on this planet right now. You're not just living your own life. You're holding frequency for others. You're showing them what's possible through your very existence. The 12th thing people see is love, but not the conditional transactional love that most people are familiar with. They see a different kind of love radiating from you. Unconditional, accepting, non-judgmental. You love people without needing them to be different. You accept them as they are, while also seeing their highest potential. You don't love to get something in return. You love because it's your nature, because you're connected to source energy, which is pure love. This kind of love confuses people who are used to conditional relationships. They keep waiting for the other shoe to drop, for you to demand something, for you to withdraw your love when they disappoint you. But you don't operate that way. Your love isn't personal, it's universal. And while this is beautiful, it can also be misunderstood. Some people mistake your unconditional love for romantic interest. Others can't accept it because they don't feel worthy of it. Some try to exploit it because they've never experienced love without strings attached. The 13th thing people see is a threat to their comfortable illusions. Not because you're trying to threaten anyone, but because your very existence challenges the narratives they've built their lives on. If they've convinced themselves that suffering is necessary, your peace threatens that belief. If they've accepted that life is supposed to be hard, your flow threatens that narrative. if they've resigned themselves to living inauthentically, your authenticity threatens their justifications. You don't have to say a word. Your energy alone disrupts the collective trance. This is why you've probably been told to tone it down, to be more realistic, to stop being so intense, or to come back down to earth. People say these things not because there's anything wrong with you, but because your frequency is incompatible with their chosen reality. And rather than raising their own frequency, they'd prefer you lower yours. The 14th thing people see is a mirror of both their light and their shadow. Your presence brings up everything in people, the best and the worst. The parts of themselves they love are amplified around you. Their creativity flows more freely, their joy expands, their authenticity emerges. They feel permission to be more of who they truly are. But their shadow also surfaces. Their jealousy, their fear, their insecurity, their rage, their grief, all of it comes up when they're near you because your light illuminates everything, including what they've been hiding from themselves. This is why relationships with you tend to be transformative. People either grow in your presence or they leave. There's no staying the same. There's no remaining comfortable in dysfunction. You catalyze change simply by being yourself. The 15th thing people see is that you've chosen the path of truth over comfort. Most people choose comfort over truth every single day. They lie to themselves to avoid pain. They stay in situations that don't serve them because leaving is scary. They perform versions of themselves that aren't real because authenticity is vulnerable. But when people look at you, they see someone who's chosen differently. You've chosen truth even when it was painful. You've chosen authenticity even when it was risky. You've chosen growth even when staying the same was easier. This choice is written all over you. It shows in how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you interact with the world. And people respect this about you, even if they can't or won't make the same choice for themselves. The 16th thing people see is freedom. Not the illusion of freedom that comes from having money or status, but real freedom, inner freedom. Freedom from needing external validation. Freedom from being controlled by fear. Freedom from living according to other people's expectations. You're free in a way most people have never experienced. Free to be yourself. Free to speak your truth. Free to follow your own path. Free to make choices that don't make sense to others. This freedom is magnetic. People are drawn to it because on some level, everyone yearns for freedom. But it's also intimidating because most people have no idea how to access that kind of liberation. They've been in prison so long, they don't remember what it feels like to fly. The 17th thing people see is a bridge between worlds. You're not just one thing. You're a paradox. You're spiritual, but grounded. You're powerful, but humble. You're confident, but still learning. You're strong, but vulnerable. You hold space for contradictions in a way that most people can't. You can be in the corporate world and the spiritual world. You can appreciate ancient wisdom and modern innovation. You can honor tradition while creating something new. This ability to bridge different realms, different perspectives, different ways of being makes you invaluable. But it also makes you hard to categorize, which makes some people uncomfortable. The 18th thing people see is that you know something they don't. There's a knowing about you, a certainty, a groundedness that doesn't come from information or education. It comes from direct experience with truth, with source, with the deeper dimensions of reality. People sense this wisdom in you, and it evokes different responses. Some want to learn from you. They ask questions, they seek your perspective, They value your insight. Others feel inferior and respond with arrogance or dismissiveness, trying to convince themselves that what you know isn't valuable. But regardless of how they respond, they all sense that you've accessed something they haven't. And that makes you simultaneously fascinating and threatening to different people. The 19th thing people see when they look at you is hope. In a world that often feels dark, chaotic, and hopeless, your presence reminds people that light still exists, that consciousness still exists, that love still exists. You're a living reminder that not everyone has succumbed to fear, that not everyone has sold out, that not everyone has given up. Just by existing, by staying true to yourself, by maintaining your integrity and your frequency, you give people hope. You might not realize how significant this is. You might feel like you're not doing enough, like you're not making a difference. But your existence alone is making a difference. Every person who encounters your energy receives a transmission, whether they're conscious of it or not. The final and perhaps most important thing people see when they look at you is themselves, their true selves, not their masks, not their personas, but their authentic soul. In your presence, pretense falls away. People find it hard to maintain their facades. The energy you carry creates a field of authenticity that invites others to be real, to be vulnerable, to be honest. This is your greatest gift and your greatest challenge, because not everyone is ready to see themselves truly. Not everyone wants to drop the mask. Not everyone is prepared for the discomfort that comes with authenticity. But for those who are ready, being seen by you, being in your presence, feeling your energy, it changes them. It reminds them who they really are beneath all the conditioning. And that memory, that recognition, can be the catalyst for their own awakening. So now you know what people see when they look at you. The question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you dim your light to make others comfortable? Will you shrink yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for you? Will you apologize for the energy you carry? Or will you own who you are? Will you step fully into your power? Will you trust that your presence alone is your purpose, that your existence is your contribution, that your light is needed exactly as it is? The world needs you to be fully you, not a watered-down version, not a people-pleasing version, not a socially acceptable version. The real you, the powerful you, the authentic you. Because what people see when they look at you, all of these things I've described, they're not seeing something you created or manufactured. They're seeing your essence, your soul, your truth. And that truth is what will ultimately set others free. If this message resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop 999 in the comments. Share this with another chosen one who needs to understand their power. You are seen, you are valued, and you are exactly who you're meant to be.